Mr. Beast has been under fire for some pretty serious allegations, but are they true? Keep watching because I know the truth. So there are dozens of online articles, news stories, and even other creators chiming in on the Beast Bash. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like to get my facts from a credible source or a primary source. And last time I checked, half of the creators talking about Beast games weren't even there, but I was, and I am here to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth about these claims and my thoughts on them. Let's get into it. So as you might know, there's this creator who is going ham on Jimmy, and I'm not gonna name any names, but they caused quite the storm on X, and I saved some of these claims. All right, so the first one we have is an article from New York Times. They interviewed a few contestants. Quote, "We signed up for the show, but we didn't sign up for not being fed or watered or treated like human beings. One meal described by several contestants consisted of a small portion of cold oatmeal, a few pieces of raw vegetables, and a single hard-boiled egg." One thing that I can say is we had plenty of water. I think Liquid Death sponsored something, Mr. Beast, because that's all we had. They had carts coming out with them before competitions, after competitions, during sleep, during meals. Matter of fact, before the briefcase challenge, they handed out so much water. I didn't want to drink a full one, so I took one from someone else, and we were all just sharing waters because we were being smart. But no, they gave us plenty of waters. And at some point, they even gave us Gatorades. I remember sleeping, taking a rest before the next competition, and I see this long line of people, and I'm like, oh, let me go check it out. I waited in the line, got my Gatorade, and guess what? I traded it for a hard-boiled egg from a vegan. Best deal I ever made, honestly. So, not true. We definitely were watered enough. Now about the food, you guys have to understand, this is a game show with $5 million on the line, right? It's not gonna be easy, and I didn't expect it to be easy. A lot of you guys don't know this, but before we got to the stadium, they brought us to a different hotel, and we sat in the ballroom silently for a little bit. They told us not to talk, but obviously 2,000 people are not gonna shut up. Mind you, there's 10 seats per table and they're round tables. Plenty of them fill in the room. This is what it looks like. So we're all just sitting there chatting, and tables started to get food, takeout boxes full of food. Imagine sitting there hungry and seeing food come out. It was like the best thing ever. And then seeing that it was really good food, I was excited. And I noticed that each table got something different. There was burgers, grilled cheese, all types of different things. But they were passing out to random tables, and my table started to get a little frustrated. We kept asking the wranglers, am I gonna get food? When can I get my food? And they obviously ignored because they're busy, and I understand. But finally, we got our food, and it's a mushroom burger. I was starving, but I did not want to eat that. I was like, no, I'm not eating this. And this girl at a different table behind me heard me, and she's a vegan. So she's like, yeah, let's switch. And she gave me bacon and eggs and potatoes. I'm gonna tell you this is crazy. We all split that one tray. We ripped the egg apart in pieces, and the bacon, it was so funny. I would never do this barbaric thing in real life with a bunch of strangers at a table. It was a bonding experience, so that was pretty cool. And that kind of confused me, because I was like, is this how we're gonna eat? Or is just to tie us over for now? So we get to the stadium, we meet all the producers, and they give us our first meal. It was a brown box. It looked like it was gonna be a salad or a sandwich. I opened it up, and it was indeed cold oatmeal, 2 celery sticks, 2 baby carrots, and a hard-boiled egg with salt and pepper packets, water. You know what? I'm gonna show you. Let's go eat. All right, just to let you guys know, this isn't the exact type of meals we got. Honestly, what I made looks a little better. Are you ready to eat, BV? Yes? No? Yes? No. We've got hard-boiled egg, 2 carrot sticks, 2 celery sticks, and of course the famous cold, flavorless, disgusting, sloppy oatmeal. And I think I made more than we got, but hey, it was something. So again, like I said before, what I made looks way better than what we got. To be honest, I bought it from the store. I'm just gonna take full credit for it anyway. I refused to buy quinoa, so I bought rice. But yeah, that's basically what we had. And of course we had plenty of Feastables. And fun fact, we actually put the Feastables in the oatmeal to make it taste better. It got better as the days went on. Definitely better than Squid Games. So there was a claim of lack of feminine products. Now, luckily, I didn't have my time of month that week, and I'm so grateful for it. But I will say, Personally, I saw so much feminine care products. You name it. Tads, tampons, there was dude wipes, there was feminine wipes, there was a lot of that. Even in the gender neutral bathrooms. There was porta potties on the field. There was even feminine care products in there. I was there the full time and there was plenty. I think that claim was blown out of proportion. Now, this perfectly goes into the next claim, which is we didn't get our undergarments. Okay, just for a little context, when we got casted, we got sent a packing list. They told us to pack 5 pairs of underwear, socks, bras, whatever undergarments you have. And right when we got to the hotel, they collected it and they labeled it with the intention of getting it during filming so that we can change after the competitions or whatever. Unfortunately, it was a mess. The first day, they didn't start passing it out for a little bit and they went by last name. So A's got theirs first, but it was taking so long. There was a huge line and there was moments where they're like, okay, line's over. Like we gotta get you guys out of here. You know what? First day, that's fine. I mean, we're sweaty, we're dirty, we're not showering. So I was already uncomfortable at that point, but hey, I don't give up, I'm not a quitter. Little TMI, you can turn your underwear inside out, which is nasty, I know, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So the second day comes, we wake up, I'm actually not sure what time it was, but I get up and go to the line because I brushed my teeth and everything, expecting to have my underwear ready, right? My last name starts with an O, Oquendo, and I asked them for my underwear, and they're like, yeah, sure, what's your last name? Oquendo. They were like, oh, we're still on B. And I was like, oh, okay, well that sucks. I marched back to my sleeping bag and, you know, I'm gonna be chill about it, okay? Let's relax. So my friend Jalen was sleeping next to me for the whole time. Her last name starts with a B. She got her underwear and socks and all that. I was so jealous, but hey, I'm here, my eyes are on the prize, I'm focused, I'm locked in. I'm not trying to lose. So I'm not gonna complain. There was a lot of people complaining. I feel like complaining puts you in a negative mindset. I'm gonna be positive. Everything's fine. I'm gonna get my underwear and socks and bras. So we finish the second competition, we get to eat, sleep, still not ready. At that point, I felt really gross. So I got back into the line and I asked for my underwear and he gives me one of these. And that literally, that was it. I was like, all right, don't have to tell me twice. That was unnecessary. And I feel like the whole situation is just unacceptable. So yes, that claim is true and they could have done better, but they did a great job for the Toronto games. And I think that's the main goal here, just improving productions and how things are run. So I'm glad that they learned and I hope this never happens again. So one of the main claims is lack of medical care. People saying that there wasn't enough nurses, medications not being passed out. So here's this. There were long lines, but that's expected because there's 2,000 of us. I know that there's people who didn't, and that's unfortunate, but what's being described is totally blown out of proportion. I'm honestly not sure how many nurses there were. I'd say 30, 20, 30. I could be wrong, but that's what I saw. They split the line in half by last names. I'd say I waited about an hour. I got my meds, and I even got this chapstick. My lips were so chapped, and I'm so grateful that I still have this chapstick. I swear by it. I'm even gonna ask Beast team what this chapstick is, where it's from, and the crazy thing is people kept asking me to use it. Maybe that's why I got COVID. There was someone who had sleep apnea and she didn't get her CPAP. She was snoring like crazy, yo. There was a couple seconds where I'm like, is she okay? Is she dying? Like, is she fighting for her life? That's unfortunate for the people sleeping around her and obviously her. It's very unfortunate that people had medical emergencies due to those things. But again, not everyone missed out on their meds. But overall, I wouldn't say that that claim is totally true. And again, I'm here to tell you my experience, my truth, and what I saw. So that perfectly goes into injuries. There are claims of broken bones. There's even a woman who claimed to have a TBI from the briefcase challenge. And that's pretty serious. So let's get into it. The first medical emergency that I saw was a seizure literally right after the Boulder Games. He got help right away. Contestants jumped in, staff jumped in. Jimmy even came down and he was really concerned and I could see it on his face. It was pretty scary. I've never seen a seizure like that before. Right after we ate and we were getting our sleeping bags, I saw another seizure and this was literally right in front of me. I started to panic a bit because I'm like, okay, that's weird. Another seizure? Is it because of the lights? Is it because what's the reason? Am I next? Clearly, I wasn't next. I was fine. I'm not sure if there's medications to take to prevent it. I'm not a medical professional. If you are, let me know. But those are the first two things I saw. Now, for the briefcase challenge, I was on orange team and we went second. So I saw the pink team go first, and it was actually pretty brutal. However, before that challenge even started, Mr. Beast and the producer Klistner mentioned plenty of times, if there's pushing, shoving, roughhousing, you're out, you're eliminated. And they were pretty serious about it. They kept saying it every single round to the point where it would stick with you. I'm like, yeah, like I'm gonna be careful, because what they didn't show in the YouTube video is we actually had to choose our jerseys. We didn't just get into groups. They threw them in the front and people were running. Obviously, everyone wanted an orange jersey because we were the strongest, we were the best. And I will admit, I accidentally like punted this girl. I was running and I pushed her and I didn't even look back. I got my jersey, put it on, and I tried to look for her. If that was you, I'm deeply sorry, but $5 million on the line. So that was intense. And as you could see, most of Red Team were older people. So kind of get why they got screwed over. No one wanted to be on that team. And Carl was also on that team. I love Carl. He was so nice, but he didn't help them at all. I'm sure that's why they're really hammering that down, because they didn't want any more injuries. And I'll tell you what, each round lasted like an hour or two, because they're looking at footage, making sure everyone's safe, making sure everyone's fair. And this is where my microphone died. Yay! But it's okay, because I have my voice back and I put plenty of chapstick on. Not as much as last time though. Okay, so back to what I was saying. They made it really clear that you had to be safe and all that. Matter of fact, when it was my turn, I lined up with a bunch of people I didn't even know. So I'm freaking out a little bit. I look around and I'm like, guys, yo, let's work together. There's enough green briefcases for the 6 of us. And they looked at me like I was crazy. And mind you, we had like no time to like discuss. But I, trust the process. I'm like, guys, seriously, we won't screw each other over. We got this. So eventually they heard me out and we all agreed on what we're gonna get. Like there was no fight. There was no fight about it. So anyway, we're getting ready and this dude named Caleb came behind us and it kind of like ruined what we had because he was cutting through, and Mac came along and was like, hey, you guys are gonna run into each other, so one of you has to move. And obviously we stay put. We're like, we already agreed on what we're doing, so absolutely not, absolutely not. This dude will not move. And we had to explain to Mac, like, we already came here first, we agreed on what we're getting, like that's just gonna ruin things. So Mac was like, okay, you need to come with me to Caleb. And I felt really bad, but like $5 million in the line, I can't just feel bad and just let him take my spot. And obviously he was not happy. But fun fact, we're buds now. It's all good. Anyway, so Jimmy says to go and I ran with my arm out like this. I smacked that briefcase and I don't think I've ever felt happier. That was like one of the highlights of the year, honestly. I remember getting the briefcase, looking around me and like, guys, like we worked together, we trusted each other. That's what it should be about, teamwork. We don't have to each other over. Anyways, I didn't see any injuries in my part, maybe because I was focused, but we got to see 2 other teams after us. Injury-wise, I saw like tables flying, but I didn't see anything too severe. So, going back to what I said, teamwork and trust. Remember when I said that you don't have to each other over to win? Well, this next round definitely proved me wrong. So there's 1,600 of us and we're playing capture the flag. I mean, before we even started, I was like, this is not a good idea. Like, this is insane. And they explained the rules and all that and how it's different rounds, so it made me feel a little bit better, but that doesn't change the fact that all of us could go in the first round. You can't control that. So not only are we all anxious and eager to get a flag, but there's also a lot of arguing and bickering, and there was a lot of pushing, a lot of it. But I can only imagine how hard it is to control all those people coming at you with flags. Luckily, I didn't get hurt, but I definitely threw a tantrum. And I was a little worried that it was gonna make the cut because I probably would have gotten canceled. I'll talk about that in another video, so make sure you subscribe. Anyway, 2,000 of us, there's obviously gonna be injuries, but this is just what I saw and I didn't see like broken bones or anything. So another pretty serious claim is sexism. There's accusations that men were prioritized, it was rigged for the men, and I have something to say about that. I'm gonna say this really carefully. I do not agree with that. As a woman, I believe in like fairness. The guys who were surrounding me were very supportive, but I definitely think it's not fair to pin that on the show, pin that on Mr. Beast, pin it on Beast Team. And what really sucks is these claims were like piling up and up and up, and he couldn't say anything. He couldn't defend himself, and I don't think that's fair. And what's crazy is that there's more claims that I didn't even get to. But again, I got more coming. Overall, I'm like absolutely thankful for this opportunity. I met so many people that will be lifelong friends. I had a lot of character development. I proved to myself that I'm stronger mentally and physically, that I can do hard things. And I honestly think that was the biggest takeaway from this. Aside from all that, they did give us $2,000, which was really nice. Most shows don't do that. And speaking of most shows, can you imagine how toxic those sets are? So I think people need to open up their minds a little bit. I feel like just because Jimmy, Mr. Beast Team, they come from YouTube, they get looked down upon. They're also doing something that's never been done before. We broke over 40 world records, and he's breaking down walls in the entertainment industry. And obviously, people are gonna hate. People online are gonna take advantage of it and absolutely all over it. I also get this question a lot. Is Mr. Beast a horrible person? No. He's insane, but we all knew that. And what's even more insane is that I have so much more. So I want you to subscribe. The button is right there. And then comment down below any questions you have, and I'll answer them 100% honest. I promise. Stay tuned for next Thursday.